Hi, I'm Jale. Welcome to my channel. This is going to be a general reading for Taurus, sign of Taurus, for the month of January 2020. So that's Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs, Mars, Ascendant, whichever you resonate with, or Taurus stellium. We're going to be looking at the general energies to see what you can expect to have coming towards you in January for the new year. Happy New Year. So we're going to connect with spirits first to see what it is they want to bring forward. We're going to go to the Witch's Tarot for more insight, to get a bit more depth on the overall situation. This is by Ellen Dugan. Then we're going to be pulling some oracle cards for outcomes. Okay, so first thing Spirit of wanting to sort of give me immediately is, whatever you do, well, actually you can do what you want, but they're saying make sure your stance isn't so firm in this month that you're missing the point. Because I'm just seeing people so rooted to one spot that they are kind of stubbornly digging their feet in and digging their heels into something, and actually it's not meant to be dug in that deep. It's like you're missing something. You're missing something by doing that, because when we're rooted to one spot, we're focused so heavily on doing that we're kind of not aware of something else going on around us. And it's like they're showing me towards the end of January that issue is going to keep coming up, but you're still focused down here where your feet are, thinking, no, I know what I know, I know what I know. Usually Taurians are pretty switched on. Usually you guys are very switched on with certain things. You're usually very grounded. Is this an example where you're too grounded and we need to get a balance there? That's essentially what they want to say here, because it's like there's a piece of information that's missing from the puzzle that you're not going to find on the floor where your feet are, if that makes any sense. I'm going to shuffle while I think what they're sort of channeling through. Okay, interesting. Let me just get a trace on this energy, because it's I don't know if you can resonate with this, but there could be some of you here that feeling a bit out of sorts, where you're not fully feeling like you're home, or you're at home within yourself. It's like you just feel like something isn't quite right and you can't pinpoint what it is. And it's almost like that energy is triggering you into kind of, I'm going to stay here because I don't know what's going on right now, and I need to know everything until I make a move, because that's what I'm about, you know. That's an extreme example, but is it a deemed or perceptive threat, or are they being a bit sneaky because they know you're going to dig your feet in, and they're going to try and, it's like someone waiting for a postman to deliver a letter. The minute they step away, someone slides something underneath the door and you think, goodness me, you know. It's like as soon as we kind of let that go, the energy is kind of freely given. There's something about this where if you hit against a situation this month in January that is, you're like, all hands on deck, not a chance I'm changing my mind on this. That's it. I'm sticking to this. Great, you can tell who you want to, tell whoever you need to say that to, but in the back of your mind, can you do me a favour and just not be as rigid with it, because I'm worried that you're going to miss something within that. They're saying you will. Sometimes life is about uncertainty, okay? We've got to stretch ourselves out a bit, all right? The tree that's weathered the most storms, okay, isn't the one that's the most rigid. It's the ones that can bend and are flexible, okay, because then they won't break, all right? Now, this is not to say you're going to break, but it's to say that there's something that is a balanced approach that is needed, because otherwise it's going to go against you a little bit in terms of your own awareness and knowledge that actually is going to be really important for you to make a very vital decision this month. So we want to equip you as best we can before that happens, so you have got all of the tools available, including your own judgment, awareness, and perception, in order to make the best decision for you. That's what it's all about. Ace of Swords on the bottom of the deck. Clarity, vision, okay? By all means, wield that sword of truth, but make sure that when you're wielding it, you're observing what was being reflected back, because there could be a lesson within that in itself. And what they don't want to have sort of happen is, towards the tail end of the month, you're sat and, going into February thinking, I've seen this before and I don't want to do this. I want to give you 2 dates as well. Pay attention before around the 10th of January. This is when Uranus is going direct. All right. If you've made decisions that you are prepared to kind of move ahead with, and you know in your heart they're the right decisions, great. But just keep open still, okay? And what I want you to do is be very aware of around the 28th of January. We've got some gnarly squares from Mars that I am not liking the energy of at all. In fact, I'm going to hide under a rock on that day. And I know that sounds a little bit melodramatic coming from someone that's supposed to be balanced, but not for me, thanks. I'll take the next test, thanks. Like, I know that sounds really bad to say that, but I just don't like this energy. I feel like it's going to be an influx of fuckery, if I'm totally honest with you. That, you know, is it ours to deal with, or is everyone else that maybe needs to kind of just be aware of that? Because usually when those kind of energies present, it's like a free-for-all energetically. And I'm sorry, but as much as I'd love to say that energy, I don't want to absorb it all, you know. I'm sure I'm going to have to anyway, but I leave it upstairs. I'll leave it up to them to decide. But just be aware of anything you're reacting to around the 28th of January. There's a square to Mars that is like, I'm not going to lie, when I first sort of looked into that, and then I tapped into the end. In fact, I've got goosebumps now thinking about it. Just be very aware of who is around you, what they're saying, what their perceptions are, I wouldn't be making any decisions around that date, if possible, okay? It's like looking into a bottomless pit and trying to tangibly get an answer for something that is never going to present around that kind of 3 days before and afterwards. Hand it upstairs. You could even be presented with energy that is just a bit negative, and it's just like, where's this come from? The point is that they're throwing that in to see how people are going to react. I know that sounds like a little bit conspiracy theory, but that's essentially what this reality is about. They don't joke upstairs for no reason to say this is a hard path, you know what I mean? They don't have this energy. We are very dualistic here. We're in light and dark. They don't have that up there. You know, that's why they can sit and laugh, because, you know what I mean, they've learned all the hard way, you know. So anyway, guys, let's have a look. Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. Taurus, general energies, January. Let's have a look at the overall theme first, and then we'll go a bit deeper. What is the theme for Taurus? January 2020, please. Overall theme, please. Taurus, January 2020. What is it you can tell us, please, Spirit? What do they need to be aware of or there? Okay. Burdens. Carrying a heavy load here. All right. Bit of a heavy load to carry. Bit of a heavy weight to bear. All right. Carrying that weight from something that is at the end of a cycle. Obviously, this is the 10 of Wands, so we're yet to kind of complete one cycle going into the Ace of Wands, which is usually about action. Okay, so this is usually about, you know, he's had to sort of rest each of those wands on his shoulder, and then he's making that climb up to his destination. Okay, usually there's an effort or a long sort of a pause while that is going on, whilst that struggle is being or that kind of work, that manual work, that kind of energy is being utilized. So there is a little journey with this. Okay, it's almost like, don't forget, when he gets to that castle up in the distance, not sure if you can see that, he's going to have to put his load down, and then he's free, isn't he, to start his descent back down with his Ace of Wands. All right, so this is nearing the end of the cycle. It's just kind of the final furlong, so you're probably going to be presented with certain things, but we'll look into that in a minute. This is just a theme. The other energy here is the Queen of Cups in reversed. Okay, so this is about, Queen of Cups is usually a very strong emotional watery energy. So again, could be Scorpio, Pisces, Cancer. Because it's in the reverse, I'm reading this as there's a little emotional imbalance there. Okay, something that needs to be recalibrated. It's like we need to top ourselves up. Have we sunk a lot of energy into things that we're waiting for payout? It's like we're waiting to dump the load off now to try and get that back. Great, but are you starting with yourself first? Okay. This to me is almost like we have to make sure before this new cycle starts and continues through January is that we're ladened up with what the essentials are and no more and no less. You know, simplistic living. Okay, are you traveling through this month with so many, you know, labels that have been placed on you, energies that have been placed on you, to the point where you're now a bit bogged down with all this and you're trying to sort through the wheat from the chaff and understanding, okay, well, is this me or is it not me? You know, do I have to take that on board or do I not? Is this something that they really think or is it not? Because there's a bit of confusion here. So we've got to, again, before we start descending and dropping those wands off, we've got to kind of understand what the realities are here. We've got to kind of navigate up the terrain to get to our destination. That requires sometimes soul searching. So make sure we're balanced when we're doing it. All right, let's dig a bit deeper here with these energies. That's the general theme. But let's see, what else can you tell us, please, for Taurus, general energies, Taurus, please, for January 2020. What is it they need to be aware of, please, Spirit? What can you tell us? Okay, 9 of Cups in reverse, all right? So this is usually an abundance. This is usually a wish sort of being manifested. But if we're spent, you know, because it's reverse, it's not fully manifesting yet. Is it spent because we haven't put the work in to ourselves? Are we sat expelling all this energy outwards? We're so emotionally kind of drained from certain things that we now need to kind of regroup a little bit, because it's certainly feeling like that. Usually when the 9 of Cups is in reverse, it's like there's a spiritual abundance that is yet to come because we haven't fully acknowledged and embraced that within ourselves. And of course, clarifying that is the Hermit. So it's about reconnecting with our own light. We need to go and connect internally first before we can expect to see that outside. It's like when people try and seek these kind of things externally to themselves before looking in the internal, and then they're sat there thinking, well, why isn't it manifesting? Did you nurture it within yourself first? It's like people who are sort of continuously looking for lovers and partners that never, that never put that energy into them. They never nurture themselves. They never give themselves that self-love. And then they're wondering why someone else isn't giving it to them. Do you give it to you? Because if you do, brilliant, you're going to see that back. But if you're not, is that not a mirror that's being shown? So they want you to kind of look within, okay? So if you're seeing that maybe you're trying to manifest something, maybe your efforts, you know, at work, or your money's a little bit kind of all over the place, look back within yourself, okay? Where can you add more quality time with you? Date, I mean, this is going to sound ludicrous, but honestly, date yourself, especially if you're single, because it's going to really build up that kind of, it's like a tipping point spiritually. If you're putting so much energy into you, you're always going to get it back via the universe or through someone else. So this is about kind of regrouping. This is a regrouping process here that they're recommending. Of course, you don't have to do it. If you feel like this, you know, not for me, it's entirely up to you. Okay. 9 of Wands, defensive energy. Okay. What is the fight really about here? Because there's a very defensive energy here. Maybe you've had people, or you will experience people that are testing the boundaries a little bit. Maybe you've started to shut yourself, you know, and take yourself off, and people are sat there going, well, hang on a minute, where have they gone? They're usually very helpful. Prod, testing the boundaries, and then you're out in full force trying to sort of defend your ground. Great that you're standing your ground and sort of establishing boundaries, but don't forget, this is the 9 of Wands. The next one is the 10 of Wands. Do you even need to defend yourself? Sometimes when we defend ourselves too much, it's essentially creating more of that energy where we have to defend ourselves even more. What do you have to prove, or what do you feel you have to prove to people? And do you believe that within yourself? Because if you don't, then you're going to get more people, you know, coming to you doing the same thing, because it's a vicious circle sometimes with this energy, okay? What is it you feel you have to prove? Do you feel worthy? Because this is the first thing I'd be looking at with that energy, because coupled with the other cards, it just feels like it's like you want to believe that you know things are going to improve, but you're still a bit unsure of things. Here we go. Lovers. Okay, this is also about reconnecting with the masculine and feminine within the self. This is about Gemini energy, okay? So it's a recalibration of light and dark, realigning with the divinity within ourselves, the dualistic energy within ourselves. And if it's not just that, it could be that, but it could also be a reconnection with someone that is on a particular spiritual level to yourself, you know, where maybe you've tried to carry so much of the energy, and you know, you're trying to help out and you're trying to balance, but sometimes it's got to the point maybe in January where you're just thinking, can we just not, I need you to step up a bit here, or I feel drained by this, or this is a lot of weight to carry and I don't know how balanced this is. Now with the Lovers card, this is usually more balanced, all right? And as you can see, you've got spiritual backing there. So it could well be that as soon as you start coming into alignment, that imbalance that you've seen with that weight you're carrying with the Ten of Wands is starting to be recognised back with you and within someone else. It doesn't have to be a lover. It could be, you know, a strong friendship or soul kind of connection. We've got the Page of Wands here, so this is also communication, very direct, fast-paced communication. This is, sometimes I'm hearing an offer. I'm hearing an offer. Do I want to say that to them though? Okay, I feel like for a small percentage of you, there will be an offer made, okay, in relation to the love, all right? Could also be a work opportunity as well. All right, could also be a tangible work opportunity. It's almost like as soon as you recalibrated that energy and balanced yourself out, the energy is being brought back in because you brought your own energy back in. The universe is repaying it. So then someone's saying, oh, look, you know, they've picked themselves up. Let's offer them that. There's something around work here. Just pay attention mid-month that you felt maybe drained. All right, and if you do, just keep focusing on topping yourself up. Meditation, salt water bath, pink Himalayan salt baths are brilliant. I live by them. That's all I do now. That's all I do. I literally live in a bath, because I absorb. I'm like a freaking spiritual debris field permanently. So I just soak myself in for like 10 hours. It's great, you know. And then you just literally just cleanse your aura, and all your layers are sort of auric layers and chakra layers are freaking sparkling, and it's all brilliant. And I just feel like when I get out, I'm like, ping. So someone's going to be making an offer here. It's like, oh, they've got their spark back. Let me make them an offer. Let me make them an offer. And don't forget that theme at the beginning. Is the offer of benefit? And is the offer going to balance and be good for all? Because don't forget, we saw the theme as the Ten of Wands. Don't, you know, as much as you're going to want to invest, make sure you're not going all back in and then you're sort of neglecting the self again, because Spirit is saying this is a little, you know, sort of check to see if you're going to recalibrate within that offer. Okay, we've got the King of Swords. This is air energy, so it could be Aquarius, Libra or Gemini. Again, there's something tangible here that's being discussed and spoken about at length. A truth, a clarity, some information coming to light. I'm hearing your mind's being put at ease. Your mind's being put at ease. It could even be that as soon as you release that angst behind the situation, this person steps forward and gives you a rundown of what it is you needed to know. But it was almost like as soon as you kind of brought your energy back, that energy came forward. Let's clarify King of Swords here. Can you please clarify the King of Swords? Yeah, look. Now don't forget, I feel like the Page of Wands energy is two separate things, all right? I feel like for some of you it's going to be a very quick offer, and then they're going to withdraw and come back with a bit more of a steady offer, and for some of you it's going to be more than one offer. All right, this is usually the discussion after the original offer. All right, so there's something else. This feels, if I'm totally honest with you, romantic now. Okay, where you're discussing the longevity of something, where you can see things going, how do you both see things. And the reason I say that is we've got the Knight of Pentacles as well, so this could also be three offers in separate sort of arenas: love, work, money. Okay, everyone's going to be different, but this is almost like a long-term offer that will be gifted in January. But this is on the basis that you're not so drained where you can reach the point where you're compass mentis for these offers to come through, and then you can sit there and try and work through what is going to be of balance and what is going to be of benefit, because some won't be. Some will, but some won't. All right, what is the kind of benefits of each of these offers, not just in the short term but in the long term? This is about putting kind of laying foundations for longer term, grounded earth-based energy. This is usually something that takes a while to develop with the King of Pentacles. The King of Swords is usually very direct and kind of, this is how I see it. This is basically what I kind of envision. Let's clarify. What is King of Swords and Knight of Pentacles, please, Spirit? For some of you, it could be two separate offers and one that you will have to sit and say no to. All right, especially with the Lovers cards previously. It could well be that maybe one person you sort of put in the cold and someone else new has come along, and you're now having to sort of navigate through that process to understand exactly what it is you want to deal with, what your choices are. Okay, with the Five of Pentacles, this could also be an offer of apprenticeship where you're not being paid but you're starting or embarking on something new, and it's like you're having a little taster, and then depending on how you feel you get on, potentially permanent work for the long term will come through. But if it's in the Lovers situation, again, everyone's going to be different with this energy. It's about, there's definitely, you're going to close the door on one of these scenarios within the Lovers sort of area. Yeah, look, you've got choices here. This is Two of Swords. It's like you're trying to navigate almost two choices. And if this is not you, it will be the other person. And don't forget with the Two of Swords, just this is actually illusionary, where you're not sure what to do and you're blindfolded and you don't know where to go. You do. You just don't want to make a decision, all right? Because you don't want to miss out on something. You think you've got a fear of missing out going on here. One of those you already know, but I feel like you're holding on to it. Do you remember what I said at the beginning, where you're holding on so tight you can't see? This is an example of that. Okay, what else can you tell us, please, Spirit? What else do our Taurians need to know for January 2020? What else can you tell us, please? What else? What else, please, Spirit? Okay. Wow. Wow. Okay. You've got a very strong energy here. Now we've got another masculine, okay? This could also be a boss. If it's not a father, if it's not a counterpart, it could be a boss that is under question, I'm hearing, okay? And we've pulled that with the shadow side, which is also the devil, all right? Now, this is not to say that the person's the devil. This is to say that there could be some shadow elements of this person, whether it be boss, whether it be father figure, whether it be a counterpart that still need to be transmuted. All right, they still need to be transmuted, and it's almost like if you are viewing this person coming from a place of pain, if they're lashing out, it's because they are needing to be doing healing on themselves, and they're definitely not ready for anything. All right, yes, the Emperor is upright, the divine masculine is upright, but is there an addictive energy going on here where you've pulled yourself back and you're doing all the work on you? They've subconsciously picked up on that and thought, well, hang on, where are they? And they're looking for that codependency. They have to do the work. Because otherwise, if you guys came together in this energy with this devil kind of shadow side energy, you are going to be sat there chugging all this energy into them, and they're not going to be doing the work themselves because they haven't learned to recalibrate. Just watch for that. If they're coming forward in a more of an attachment type of energy, put the 10 of Wands down. This is not your job to help them understand that. That sounds really harsh, but let's pull some clarifiers here. What can you tell us, please, about Emperor and the Devil? Yeah, strength. Okay. In one traditional energy, this could be about you having to hold yourself back because you understand that this maybe hasn't fully formed yet, and you know, if you entertain it, it could lead to some emotional distress or kind of being left in the cold. This is more of a slow burner, right? Maybe the King of Swords was the Emperor as well, who came forward with that very kind of clear vision of, I see this and I see that and I see the other. But on sort of, you know, going into the month a little further, their shadow elements have not been transmuted and or integrated within them enough whereby you can have a balanced situation, which is where the strength come in. The strength can also, which is you sort of pulling yourself back a bit and sort of giving it some space. Don't forget the digging the heels in, all right? Where you're digging your heels in so tight, maybe you're digging your heels in because you really want this, but it's not quite time. It hasn't quite fully formed. You know, Knight of Pentacles. Right, the strength can also be around ego, where you desperately just want to say yes and resign yourself and sort of surrender to it all, but there's something around this that you know is not fully formed, and if you get involved, the outcome, Five of Pentacles, there's an emotional imbalance. All right, we've got to wait for 6, which is more of a balanced energy. There's just something not quite right about this energy. It's not fully formed yet. So if you're getting this presented to you within the love, career, again, just take it as it resonates. Just be mindful. What else can you tell us, please, for Taurus for January? Yeah, we've skipped over the 6 of Pentacles and gone right to the 7, which is about just sowing the seeds and waiting for the growth, okay? 7 of Pentacles, this is about investment of time. So it's like, okay, well, we recognise that there's a shadow element that needs to be integrated. They're not quite fully formed. They're probably going to end up hurting me at this point in time because they're not healed. They're coming from a wounded perspective. And of course, I'm going to be in the firing line. It's not to say it's personal. It just means that they haven't balanced themselves. Give them some time and space to understand and integrate this and anchor this energy in, because they clearly need to do a bit of healing. And while they're doing that, you just focus on you, all right? You focus on you and what the task at hand that you need to be looking at. Taurus, January. Yeah. So the Chariot in reverse. There's a bit of a stall going on here. So the Chariot's usually sort of that very fast-paced kind of like, you know, concerted energy that you're steaming ahead and you're kind of getting things done. This being in reverse, it's like there's a stall going on here. We're not quite sure what's going on. Let's just bide our time, all right? Don't forget what I said at the beginning when you're digging your heels on. It could be that you decide to try and restart this Chariot and dig your heels in to try and get it to go upright, and Spirit is saying it's not going to work. The more you pull against this, and trust me, I'm an Aries Taurus cusp, so I get it, because I'm stubborn as they come. The more you fight against that energy, the longer this is going to take, because this is also a lesson for us to say that sometimes, one sec. Know what's good for you, release. I know that they're saying this to me now. They're saying, I know that you feel really that you can definitely solve these problems, but sometimes it's not for you to solve, and that's part of the lesson in itself. Sometimes you have to let the other person do the work as well, okay? I know the industriousness behind Taurians are like, they're like bulls, you know, they keep chugging along. But Spirit is saying sometimes this is not your fight, you know, this is not for you. Just keep steady as she goes, you know, that kind of consistent energy. This is for me now, I think. What else can you tell us, please, about Taurus? Yeah. Yeah, so we've got the Two of Pentacles in reverse. So it's, again, that juggling act. Don't do the juggle where you're trying to rescue this person, rescue yourself, and carrying that load up to the, you know, up to the castle, and then having to come back for the Ace of Wands. Let's focus on the self. Let's focus on us. Let's not do the juggling act. Let's not do the juggling act. Let's just give it to Spirit. Let's see what they want to do with the energy. What else can you tell us, please? January. And confirm. Hanged Man. So again, I'm hearing I huff and I puff and I blow your house down. Little pig, let me come in. You know, don't, just let it go. Do you know what I mean? Don't try and blow the house down. It's like, it's just not going to work. And if that's triggering you to hear that, release this control. Release the fear of needing control. This is the thing. If this situation is 1000% meant to be, and you've done all your healing within yourself as best you can up to this point in time that we're at, because ain't nobody doing all the healing in the world for the whole X amount of time, years they've been on the planet, and they haven't even reached, you know, older age, because that's just unrealistic. You know, it's a process, it's a lifelong process, this kind of healing stuff. But if you've got to the point where you've done as much as you can within the now moment, and you're still triggered, and you know in your heart that that person is meant for you and this will happen, what's to be triggered about? Because if you're reacting as if, I want it now, do you really believe that person's for you? Because for me, you wouldn't need to hold on so tight if you actually knew that person was for you, which leads me to believe that this could also be a healing that you need to do within yourself to understand that you're worthy. If you knew you were worthy, you wouldn't worry about that. If you know that that person's for you, if you know that Spirit have it all in hand, What's the anxiety about? What's the worry? Well, why not just release it, resign to the hangman and focus on yourself? It saves so much time and energy. I'll be totally honest with you, just so much easier to do it that way. Because you're working in line with spirit, you're working with that energy flow then, and when you work with energy flow, it's a lot easier. You just don't have to jump over 15 different boundaries, obstacles, you know. What other insight can you give us, please, Spirit, for Taurus? Taurus for January 2020. Other insights, please. What else do they need to be aware of? Right. They're saying if you decide to forge ahead with this, and this is definitely an ego thing here, okay? So if you are sat there thinking, I feel a lack here, this is a lack, I am not getting anything back, this is a weathered tree that is not bearing much, all right, we're in the throes of winter and there's not much to be had here. Is this actually about the other person, or is it about how you see yourself? They're just reaffirming what I said, because it's a valuable lesson, this kind of thing. And they're just saying, if you really feel like, you know, you've been let down and that there's a lack here, top yourself up. You won't feel the lack then, because you're getting it back from yourself. You're getting it from somewhere. But if you are looking for this externally, then it's like a carrot it's like a carrot being dangled in front of you. It's just, you're just going to keep wandering towards a carrot and it's never going to go anywhere. Just top yourself up, because actually what will happen is the universe will go, oh look, they've ended up acknowledging that it starts with them first. Let's give them their energy they want. And you'll end up seeing it back immediately, usually. January 2020 for Taurus. Interesting. Let me just clarify the card here. Can you clarify this? Can you clarify? Wow. This is interesting. I'm just getting another card out here. Okay, let me just get this. Okay, at that point, as I said, once you've learned that kind of interaction with how energy works, there is a potential reunion coming up. Okay, you guys will be reunited. The energy will be brought back within you to you, and then the universe will then reflect that out. Okay, if it's not a commitment, all right, this is the High Priest or Hierophant. If it's not a commitment, it could be that you've learned that lesson and then you're imparting that knowledge on. This is also about establishment, teachers, civil service, police. Okay, it could be that there's something about you giving back to you that then spurs you on to do something else, okay, within your career and or your spiritual development, that then helps everyone. And if that isn't the case within the career arena, then this could also be a commitment, okay? We've got the King of Pentacles in the reverse, all right? And we've got the Empress in reverse. So we've now got two energies that are not balanced, all right? So the King of Pentacles, again, the Empress in reverse is actually Taurus and or Libra. Okay, and the King of Pentacles is usually Taurus, Capricorn and or Virgo, all right? So it's almost like you're trying to align with this energy to give back to you, but there's also an alignment maybe with your masculine and feminine that aren't in alignment either. And then there's a secondary part that you have to look at. If it's not that, then it will be a commitment to the self and or a commitment to someone else where it's just still a little bit needing to be tweaked and there's more work that's needed, all right? This is also about friendship, okay? This is also about friendship. So have you lost that friendship and you're just so focused on what he said, she said, he didn't do that, she didn't do that, you need to give this to me, I didn't get this, I've done more than you, that, you know, that imbalance. But the King of Pentacles is usually a solid offer. And if it's in reverse, it's usually an offer that is given and then withdrawn. And the Empress is sometimes someone that has that kind of nourishing, you know, that divine feminine element, but then just doesn't give it to themselves, you know. The Ace of Pentacles is here as well. So again, this is reflecting commitment, but what are you committing to? This is all about where you're going to put your commitment. Are you putting it to yourself first? Are you putting it towards all parts of yourself in terms of your job, your, you know, your own emotional well-being, your spiritual well-being? Or is it just being projected out, and then you're left with this imbalance within your own self and partnership? Because this Ace of Pentacles, for me, is like, where are your invested interests? Where is your priorities here? This is about a prioritization of energy. Are you wanting to sink this into a partnership that is massively unbalanced? Because let's be realistic, right? Let's say you're the masculine in this. Let's say you're the masculine. You put the commitment into you, right? So the King of Pentacles is now upright. Well, the feminine element is still imbalanced. So what are you going to get from that? You're going to get imbalance. Let's say the King of Pentacles is in the reverse, and then he gives to himself. He's not lost out then, because he's given to himself. This energy here is going to have to learn that. And while you're doing you, that energy will have to learn. Again, Hierophant, teaching. Is there a soul contract that you have with an individual where you're learning these lessons that are coming through over and over? Are you in a cycle of this? If that's the case, break the cycle and give to yourself. If you're usually giving to them, give to you. And if you're usually giving to you, give to them. Break the cycle, all right? Three of Cups, partnership, friendship, reconciliation, understanding, okay? We've also got the shadow side now in the reverse, okay? This is the Devil card in the reverse, okay? So it's almost like they're trying to resolve this addictive patterning behavior, attachment, codependency issue before this can move on. This cannot move on and be balanced and have a real genuine long-term commitment, starting from the Ace, building up to the Ten of Pentacles, with that established, you know, foundation into that kind of, you know, financial abundance and that kind of family remit. If everyone's energy within this scenario is all over the place, all right, that goes for work as well. If this isn't a, you know, a sort of a romantic connection, this could be work. You know, and the Three of Cups could be colleagues at work. So just, if you're having this energy and it's like everyone is kind of all over the place, change it up. Where are you putting your energy now? And then where can you put it in order to help this situation as a whole? To change that pattern, because this is a pattern that needs breaking. Okay, so let's pull some outcome cards for you guys, for Taurus. We're going to go with the Archangel Oracle cards first of all. Taurus, please. Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. Taurus energy for January 2020. Outcomes, please. Taurus outcomes for January 2020. Taurus, please. January 2020. Taurus. Brilliant idea. Yes, your idea is divinely guided. Please take action to bring your idea to fruition. Okay, is this distraction that you've got deflecting from the energy you're putting into you, where you've just had an amazing idea but you're thinking, I can't do it because I'm just putting all my energy into that situation? Just pull it back, because your idea is being backed. All right, don't underestimate your energy in yourself. All right, so we're going to pull the Earth Magic cards. Stephen D. Farmer, outcomes please for Taurus. January 2020, please. January 2020. Wow. Dance, celebration. Okay, it's like there's a different energy here where you're kind of bringing something different to the table that's creating a ripple effect. Don't underestimate that either. This could be linked to that new idea. This could be something creative that you're going to bring that is going to really lift that energy up. I've rolled about, oh, there's cards everywhere here. Right, and then we're going to do the Keepers of the Light deck by Carl Gray. I love these cards. Let's see, for Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. Taurus general energy please for January 2020. What is the insight guidance that you can give please for Taurus? Taurus energy, January 2020. Wow. Okay, perfect. We've got Melchizedek, again, reflecting the higher learning. Okay, so that, don't forget that Hierophant card about the teaching. Okay, it says, you have learnt from experience. More inner study is now required to further progress. Sometimes you've done all you can, and so it's time to reflect on your own inner learning within the situation that's needed, because then it will provide not only a new perspective, but it's like you're imparting that knowledge elsewhere. Don't forget that kind of Hierophant energy. This is about higher learning. It's like you're coming into your own. You're stepping out of cycles that you would have maybe been sat in for months and months and months, and you're sat there now thinking, hang on a minute, I've done this before, what am I doing? Melchizedek, call upon Melchizedek, because this is the brotherhood energy. Okay, so this is some really hardcore energies right here. I'm going to read from the book, which he's in full favour of, guides. Okay, it says Melchizedek is a high priest who is mentioned in the Bible's book of Genesis and many other sources too. He is here to assist the earth through an ascension process, which is basically moving everyone and everything back to a state of love and harmony. He appears with bright light around him and a long white beard to match his ancient high priest ways, and is said to have the own order of the light-filled priests who are able to help spiritual people develop their gifts and qualities. As he works on a high energetic level, we can connect with him through sacred geometry and by focusing on ancient star-shaped symbols. You have learned so much to this point and are learning more every day. You are recognizing all the great lessons your experiences and challenges have brought to you, and are preparing for a transition or inner ascension where you'll move beyond another level of fear and into the inner sanctum of your heart and soul. Become aware of patterns, ancient symbols and signs being sent to you from the universe. There's a sense now that you are able to focus in a new way and offer greater light to the world. Melchizedek and his order are with you now, leading you towards spiritual wisdom. Meditate and connect with their light. What amazing energy. Here he is. Hopefully that's been of some assistance. This was your reading for January 2020 for the sign of Taurus. Thank you for all your likes, subscription and shares. I do really appreciate that. Hopefully you've had a wonderful new year. The next video to be posted will be Gemini energy for January 2020. Have a wonderful day, evening, wherever you are. Take good care. Bye.